Favor, you need to stop blaming yourself, Mary said softly, holding her friend's hand. The room was quiet, except for the occasional hum of cars outside. Favor's voice cracked as she replied, "How can I, Mary? Sule came to me for help, and I thought I had time. I thought one more phone call, one more greeting would fix it. But now he's gone." The pain in Favor's voice made Mary sad. You didn't know, Favor. None of us knew how much he was suffering, but this is why we are here, why we fight, to make sure no one else feels like they are alone. Favor wiped her eyes and straightened her shoulders. Do you think tonight will make a difference? That people will actually show up and unmask their fears? Mary smiled faintly. Let's just go with the flow, Favor. The rest will follow. The grand ballroom was alive with color and music. Guests moved gracefully in vibrant attire, their masks concealing their faces but not their excitement. The unmasking ball was Mary and Favor's biggest event yet, a campaign to fight HIV stigma and encourage people to know their status. Mary scanned the room, her eyes landing on a man in a white mask standing near the back. His posture was stiff, his gaze distant. Something about him unsettled her. But before she could dwell on it, Favor nudged her. Focus, Mary. You are the host. You need to mingle. Mary smiled. All right, let's give them a night to remember. As Mary moved through the crowd, a waiter handed her a small envelope. She opened it, her eyes skipping a bit as she read the hastily written note. The truth is closer than you think. Be careful who you trust tonight. Mary looked around, but no one seemed out of place. Her eyes drifted back to the man in the white mask. He hadn't moved, his presence looming like a shadow at the edge of the celebration. Taking the stage, Mary's voice rang out, filled with emotion. Tonight, we are here to unmask more than our faces. We are here to unmask the fear, the stigma, and the silence that have held us back for too long. One by one, guests stepped forward to remove their masks and share their stories. A young woman admitted her fear of losing her job if her status was revealed. A middle-aged man confessed that he too was afraid to get tested. When Favor took her turn, she removed her mask with trembling hands. I fear that I would never forgive myself for Sule's death, but I promise to fight for those who are still here. The room erupted in applause, but Mary noticed the man in the white mask, shifting uncomfortably in his spot. As the night wound down, Mary finally approached the man. You have been quiet all night, she said gently. Would you like to share something? He shook his head and handed her an envelope. This would explain everything he said before walking away. Mary opened the envelope and found a photograph of a group holding a banner that read HIV Awareness Campaign, JOS 2017. Her eyes immediately landed on a smiling woman in the center. That's Halima, Favor whispered, peering over Mary's shoulder. She was fearless, but she disappeared after that campaign. No one knows why. Mary's gaze shifted to a younger man in the photo, wearing a silver ring identical to the one on the man in the white mask. Later, Favor shared a startling revelation. Halima told me once that someone powerful was pressuring her to stop her campaign. She said he didn't want her message spreading too far. Do you think it's him? Mary asked. Favor nodded. It has to be. But as they dug deeper, the truth took an unexpected turn. Halima hadn't been harmed. Instead, the man in the white mask, Larry, had offered her a job in a different city, far away from Jos. He had disguised it as an opportunity, but in reality, it was to silence her activism. Just as Mary and Favor were leaving the ballroom, basking in the success of the evening, Favor's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and froze. What is it? Mary asked, noticing the fear in her friend's expression. Favor turned the screen towards Mary. It was an anonymous message. You are playing a dangerous game, it read. If you keep digging, you will disappear like Halima. Mary's stomach dropped. Who sent this? Favor shook her head. I don't know. No number, no name. Mary's mind raced. This can't be a coincidence. First, the man in the white mask. then the photo of Halima, and now this. They quickly scanned the ballroom, searching for anyone suspicious. But the crowd was thinning, and the man in the white mask was nowhere to be seen. We need to find out who sent this, Mary said firmly. The next day, Mary and Favour began retracing Halima's steps before her disappearance. They visited her old workplace and spoke to her colleagues. One of them, a woman named Zainab, pulled them aside. Halima confided in me before she left, Zainab said, her eyes darting around nervously. She said someone powerful was threatening her, trying to make her stop her HIV awareness campaign. She didn't want to go, but she said she had no choice. She was scared for her life. Who was it? Mary asked, her heart pounding. Zainab hesitated and then handed them an old flyer from Halima's campaign. Scribbled on the back was a single name, Larry. Determined to get answers, Mary and Favour returned to the venue of the ball, suspecting Larry might have left something behind. While exploring the backstage area, they found a locker room with a faint light seeping through the crack under the door. Mary hesitated. Do we go in? Favour nodded. We have to. They forced the door open, revealing a small office filled with documents and photographs. On the desk was a folder labeled Campaign Thread. Inside were detailed reports of Halima's movement before her departure, including the ticket for the job Larry had arranged for her in another city. But there was more. Photos of Mary and Favour from the ball with scribbled notes. Watch them. He's been following us, Favour said, her voice shaking. Mary took a deep breath. This isn't just about Halima anymore. We're in danger too. The discovery sent chills down their spines. They knew they couldn't stop now. Larry had answers they needed, and they had to confront him before it was too late. The next day, Mary and Favour bravely confronted Larry at his office. He looked at them with weary eyes, his mask from the previous night sitting on his desk. You've been hiding for too long, Larry, Mary said. It's time to tell the truth. Larry sighed, his voice breaking. I was scared. Scared that if people knew I was living with HIV, they would never see me as a leader again. Halima, she too was brave. She was getting in my way, and I couldn't let her, so I sent her away. But why spread lies and fear? Favour asked, her voice filled with anger. Because fear keeps people distracted. It keeps them from looking too closely to me, Larry admitted, tears streaming down his face. Mary handed Larry a letter. You have a chance to make things right. Use your voice to help people, not hurt them. Days later, Larry stood on a stage at a community event, his voice steady but emotional. I lived in fear, and that fear made me hurt others. But today, I choose truth. I am living with HIV, and I will spend the rest of my life fighting the stigma I once fueled. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing through the hall. As Mary and Favour watched the crowd embrace Larry's message, Mary turned to her friend. This is why we fight. Not just for the truth, but for the courage to face it